Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you're all doing well. If you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, I like to film dedicated reviews and monthly reading wrap-ups, which I recently created a 2024 monthly reading wrap-up playlist. So I'll link that up here if you want to check those out. And a few hours ago, because my daughter woke up, actually it was perfect. She woke up right when I finished filming my May wrap up. It could not have been better timing. Sorry, I had to put my hair up. I don't know what it is. Ever since I was little, like a little girl, I've almost always hated having my hair down. Is anybody else like that? I don't know. I always much prefer to have it up. All right. Anyways, I filmed my May wrap up. That will be posted before this. So I'll link that up here for you as well. But today I'm filming my dedicated review for Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. Gonna put that sleeve back on there. I was sent this courtesy of William Morrow Publishing. Thank you so much, William Morrow. You literally made my day when I opened this. I screamed. I was so excited. I absolutely loved The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Loved it, still love it. And this is right up there with it now. Maybe they're even tied. It's so good. I can't wait to chat about it. If you're new here, I always do a non-spoiler review followed by a spoiler section for those of us who have read, but don't worry, I will warn you when that part of the video is coming up. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the book, and then I am going to read the back description because I will not read the inside flap, but I will read the back just because I love how Lucy Foley designs her back covers by telling you the characters, giving you a little bit of a hint to them. But first, this is literally the perfect length of a thriller for me. I love my thrillers under 350 pages, and this is exactly 350 pages, not including the acknowledgments, which is so awesome. And something else I appreciated about it is it's not chapters, it's point of views, and they are short for the most part. So for me and just my attention span, if a book has really long chapters, I don't know, it feels more of a chore to read for me. But if it's quick, that's better for my attention. I don't know, that's just a personal thing. But anyways, the point of views are super short, and it helps you just fly through the book, honestly. So I really appreciated that. But let me go ahead and read the back of this. I will say the US publication for this is June 18th. I'm filming this on May 31st. So this book is coming out. I will put a pre-order link down below for you because it is so freaking good, and I think everybody needs to read it. One of my favorite thrillers this year. Not sure what the UK published date is. Maybe it's the same date. I don't know. I only researched the US one. Okay, but anyways, the back says, "Welcome to the opening weekend of The Manor, a luxury resort built on top of old secrets in an ancient forest. The founder, the husband, the mystery guest, the kitchen help. Everyone has an agenda, everyone has a past, but not everyone will survive the midnight feast." I love that. I always love, and she does this with her other books too. At least The Paris Apartment she did this with. I love that we get a little idea of who is going to be in the story. But this did a good job of not giving too much away. That's why I don't really typically read inside flaps. So I'm not going to do that for you guys today, but I will just say it mentions a manor in an ancient forest, so that it's that secluded setting, which you guys know I love. I'm here for it because then nobody's running away. And the book is not taking place in a bunch of different places. It's just one place, and only so much can happen in one place. So I feel as a reader, it's easier for you to put the clues together. However, I will say there are past point of views as well, but they all kind of take place around the same setting. So I feel it's really easy to read there where you're not getting super confused. It's easy to follow along, and the characters are very distinguishable. So you're not getting confused who's who. And I will say everybody in this book has a motive for what the heck goes down. I had so much fun taking my notes with this book. I would say it has a ton of twists. One of them being right in front of my face the whole time. And I just never saw it. And I love when that happens because I feel that's pretty rare when you're wait a second, there was a little bit of foreshadowing, or more so there were definitely some clues that could have helped me figure this out, and like I just didn't figure it out, you know, like I was not on the scent at all. So that was really fun, and I had some guesses for things that were happening, and I feel like only a few of them were right. So I feel like it just really kept me engaged. I sped through it. One of the better thrillers that I've read this year. So I'm gonna scooch over here because I'm gonna pop my rating scale here, and on my rating scale, I am giving this a go get this book now, pre-order it, or just go to a bookstore and get it the day that it comes out because it's so good. I'm sure the audiobook would be great for it as well. I listen to my audiobooks via Libro FM, so I'll put that link down below for you. And if you sign up there, you'll get a free audiobook. So if you're not a Libro FM member yet, you could potentially listen to this for free if you sign up. But yeah, anyways, absolutely loved it. I have so many notes for like the spoiler section. So bookmark this video, come back and listen to it once you've read so we can chat spoilers and see if we had any of the same theories. But I am going to go ahead and get chatting with spoilers right now. All right, you guys know the drill. Got my Diet Coke. I'm going to be looking down here at my notes because there are a ton of them. First off, the book is talking about a signature scent. There's a signature scent amongst this manor. And I'm like, are they putting something into the air to make these people high? Because everyone here is super freaking strange. So we find out Bella has a daughter. Her name is Grace. I wrote down in my notes, she must have known Francesca when they were younger. And obviously, as the book pans out, she definitely does. What I will say is I wish we learned a little bit more about Bella's daughter. Like, I understand why we don't, because the book is centered on like Bella and Francesca's past together, right? Like, it's not centered on her future with her kid, but I just wish I would have known. Like, I don't even know if it said if we know who the dad is. I'm not sure. Maybe I missed that part, but anyway, so we know that she has a daughter back at home. Then we move on to Owen alluding to the fact that he's basically a fraud, that he shouldn't be living this luxurious lifestyle. Later on, we find out that he's actually Shrimp, right? His dad was the fisherman. They were living on the boat, I think. And then we find out that Michelle is the girl from the fish and chip shop, that the brothers, you know, it alludes to they basically like molested her. So we find out that those two are back, and I'm like, okay, so Bella knows Francesca, Owen knows Francesca, Michelle knows like everybody knows Francesca. Everybody has a motive for not wanting this midnight feast to go properly. Then it moves on to Eddie and Delilah. How when they were dating, they stumbled upon an older man having had died in his cabin in the forest or the woods or whatever, and there was like a bird feather there. Then we find out that that old man was actually Grandpa, or however you want to say it. So we find out that old Gramps passed away in the cabin. And it's fun because as a reader, you're like, was it the birds that got him? Or was it Cora? Because I took it as like he was hitting on Cora at one point or something when Bella had seen them together in the cottage, and like maybe she came back because he had done something like awful to her and she like killed him. Like, I feel like characters had motives to like kill or harm Francesca, but they also had motives to kill the grandpa. So yeah, I don't know. I was definitely invested in both trains. I'm like, okay, people want her dead. Somebody like killed him probably. I loved the urban legend like spin to this book because I did think that when Francesca was younger, she was the one like doing all the bird stuff, because you could just tell as a reader that she was bored. Like, she was bored. She wanted to mess with people. Her brothers were like, oh, they said something like, oh, you're the fresh meat, or like the flavor of the week, or like one of those comments alluding to the fact that Francesca just goes through a lot of friends. And in my opinion, I'm like, she's bored. Like, she wants to like mess with people and toy with people because she has nothing better to do. So then we find out that she was the one, right? When she admits it to Bella that like she put that weird figure in the treehouse or whatever, and like the scary music. But in my mind, I'm like, an urban legend always stems from something, right? Like where there's smoke, or where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situation. So I thought, I'm like, I wonder if it's a bunch of like people passed down from generations, like family members that have always been the birds. And that's what it really does end up being at the end. But I will say throughout the book, I felt like they're, you know, they thought that they saw birds or like something out of their eye, or like when Eddie put on the costume and was like running after Francesca when she was driving, like he thought he saw like, you know, the bigger birds on the side of him. Like, were those the townsfolk that have been birds for generations, or were those actually like the urban legend? You know, like I feel like you could take certain parts of this book to kind of have that urban legend feel where it's not like really explained kind of thing. So I really liked that. I thought it made it just really fun. Definitely super exciting parts of the book that centered around the birds. Got sad reading this next note. I wrote, Eddie alludes to something bad happening to his brother. Dead maybe? Could Fran have had something to do with it? And now Eddie is out for revenge. / was Eddie trying to save the family farm? Because there was that whole section in like the beginning of the book where, you know, Fran didn't want anything to do with the farm and she already had like producers or whatever. But you guys, I did not see it coming that D.I. Walker was Jake. That, and the non-spoiler part of this video, was what I was referencing when I said something was right in front of my face the entire time. I never once thought, that's weird, we've never heard D.I. Walker's first name. At least I'm like pretty confident that we didn't until we found out that he was Jake. Because if you go back, which I did, I didn't go back to all of the D.I. Walker parts, but I went back to quite a few, and they always start with like, he references himself in like the third person, or like Walker climbs into a protective suit, like calls himself either his last name, or the chapters or point of views just start by like his partner saying something, but like he always like this one, he's referencing himself by Walker. It never once occurred to me that we didn't know his first name. So like for me, I'm like, that should have been weird to me, right? Like that should have stuck out, but it didn't. So that was so fun, honestly, so fun when we found out that that was Jake, and that also Jake was alive, because I was 1000% positive that the body that Owen was excavating from the land was going to be Jake. I'm like, Francesca was so jealous. Like, you know, she didn't want really anything to do with Bella, but God forbid Bella has like other friends. And then when she found out that she was seeing him, you could just tell she was jealous. Like all of the parts of the book where Bella was like, you know, Jake had his hand on my knee and I looked up and Francesca's just staring at us, or like whatever, like those scenes, you're like, wow, she's actually crazy. She's actually possessive. So I'm like, she does something crazy. The party goes wrong. He ends up dying. And that's why Bella's out here trying to get her revenge. But no, it ended up being Cora. And then finding out that Cora was actually Owen's mom. You know, it alludes to the fact that Cora was slightly older, right? Like Lucy was giving us hints this whole, you know, the whole book. She's like, Bella's like, you know, she's a little bit older. Sorry, I feel something in my eye. She's a little bit older than us and stuff, but like you wouldn't think that she was like a teen mom. Like we would have no idea. So finding out that she was Owen's mom was like a huge, like I did not see that coming. But of course, that gives him a massive motive, but he didn't know that, especially when Francesca admits like over the phone, like Cora was your mom or whatever, like she like let it slip. And then he was like, where are you? Like you could just tell he was like going to be gunning for her then. Obviously Hugo and Oscar were pieces of shit. Nobody was sad that they died in the wine cooler or wherever the heck they were, let's be honest. But what was fun is when we were getting the present point of views of like two people were dead and locked in a room. As a reader, you initially think that it was Owen and Michelle, right? And that maybe when Fran saw them, she got pissed and then she went in there and like locked them and then set the thing on fire, the manor on fire, since we know that there was a fire. But no, it was actually the twins. So like that was super fun too. But yeah, I was so sure that that dead body was going to be Jake. So that was like such a nice twist at the end because I was so dead set on it. And then obviously the family gets to be reunited, which is exciting, you know, because I felt bad. Like, you feel bad for the Eddie character. You're like, okay, he grew up with a brother who was just so ashamed at like everything that happened, but then he like, you know, doesn't talk to his family and doesn't want to come back to like the scene of the crime kind of thing. But yeah, I had so much fun, if you can't tell, from reading or while reading this book, honestly. I just thought it was so good. I loved it. I really loved all the twists. Just, oh my gosh. And I didn't write this down, but like how everybody was getting high from like the champagne or Prosecco or whatever they were drinking was so funny. Like, I was just picturing, you know, like somebody was like trying to eat the leaves off of their crown and like all that stuff. I'm like, that is actually hilarious. Like, just imagine that whole scene of all these people like acting crazy. But anyways, I had so much fun reading this book. I am so looking forward to her next book because her two, this one and The Paris Apartment, have been like rock star books for me. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed listening to all of my spoiler thoughts on the book, and non-spoiler if you've just watched this video from start to finish. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.